The following podcast is rated D for dumb. You're listening to Dumbing It Down with Dave, the fastest podcast on earth. Listen to Dave commute to and from work on the New York State Thruway in his 2008 Kia Rio LX. He talks about pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. Join Dave as he asks and tells you how life ought to be. And now, here's Dave.
Well, hello everybody. Dave Canyon here. I'm in the Kia Rio, southbound the New York State Thruway on a Saturday. Are you ready to dumb it down with me? Fantastic. That's good news. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming back. I think this is episode, 315 maybe? 316, something like that. It's up there. We're getting there. The episodes are getting closer and closer instead of one every couple of weeks. This is the first one I've done in a couple of days. So that's good. 2 a week. That was the original intent. Well, not the original, but one of the original intents of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all in my 2008 Kia Rio LX as I travel to and from work, up and down the New York State Thruway, northbound, southbound. Right now I'm southbound on the way home from an extra Saturday. I usually don't do Saturdays, but it looks like Saturdays is going to be a thing now for me through the summer, the spring and the summer. Part of it is, it's all voluntary. It's not mandated, but we are busy, and I have goals. I have goals, aspirations. I have steps to the goal, and a lot of those goals, or all of them actually, involve money. Got to have money. Unless anybody wants to do anything for me for free, then it's money. If it's for a discount, it's still money. And I got to work. So that 6th day is very lucrative. It makes a big difference, especially if you do it 20 consecutive, not consecutive, but 20 times 300, 20 times 400, 20 times 500. It's an extra, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000. It all adds up. And that's the way I look at life. My production company, which I kind of explained a couple of episodes ago, but I didn't finish the thought. So this gives me a chance to finish the thought because I went on a tangent a couple of episodes ago. My production company is called .001 Productions, and that was a very meaningful title. I was thinking, what would I call my production company if I had one? And I said, well, I would call it .001 Productions because everything I do is .001 at a time. I got into this mess. I call it a mess. .001 at a time. It took me 50 some odd years, probably about 30 some odd years to get into the mess I was in. And then I swam in that mess. I existed in that mess. And now it's time to get out of that mess. .001 at a time, one episode, 2 a week. Some YouTubing with Dave's Fit Life for those of you who are curious about my physical fitness or just my fitness in general. It encompasses a lot of different things. Don't forget to check out Dave's Fit Life. There's the Facebook group. There's a YouTube channel. There's Twitter. It's Instagram. TikTok, too. The TikToks are pretty interesting. We're doing some TikToks. We got full-length YouTube videos. So check out anywhere you can Dave's Fit Life. Dave's Fit Life. D-A-V-E, sometimes apostrophe S, I guess. Fit Life. But anyway, this is Dumbing It Down with Dave, and here we are. We're in the 2008 Kia Rio. We are southbound the New York State Thruway. It is 11 o'clock in the morning. I just finished a nice little short 7-hour day of work. It is the 6th day of the week for me. And I'm trying not to yell because I don't like when I yell. It exhausts me, and apparently it turns people off, so I will try not to yell. I hope this all sounds good. I did some research into some technology, and all I ended up doing is going back into the old ways. I am now talking into headphones, the iPhone headphones, and I'm plugged into the phone. I'm plugged in with a dongle at the bottom, whatever they call that thing. So, I got some power. The phone's not going to run out on me. So here we go. We're just going to talk and do a show. And I have an idea what I want to talk about because it's been bothering me for a while. But before we do that, let's do a mileage report, right? Let's do a mileage report. For those of you that don't know, you're new to the show, because, I always have to appeal to the new people who have stumbled upon Dumbing It Down with Dave. And if you are here for the first or second or maybe even third time, for whatever is the criteria for still being a new listener, I do a mileage report sometimes. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'm just not interested. I don't know why I do it. We have nothing here that's really set. I don't have set pieces. I guess I should have set pieces, but I like to mix it up. I'm not really all that interested in being 100% the same show every week, of course. Of course not. That would be horrible. But we'll do a mileage report, and the reason why I do a mileage report is because I'm driving a 2008 Kia Rio, and it's high. It's got high mileage on it, and I tweet it out sometimes. And I like Kia to give a darn. I like anybody to give a darn, but whatever. So I find it interesting that this car has made it this far. It's doing very well, no problems. I got a check engine light, but it really doesn't mean anything. You can clear it. I can pass inspection, and then it comes back because it's some sort of evaporator deal. It's some sort of exhaust deal. It really means nothing. It has nothing to do with the performance of the car. Nothing to do with the performance. It has to do with a sensor, a stupid sensor, because the technology we have advanced, but we don't know how to use it. We don't know what to do with it, and things go a little bit awry. And if things go awry, then it triggers the sensor, and then the sensor gives me a check engine light. But it doesn't mean anything because it could just correct itself, but the check engine light stays on. Stays on until you clear it. It's a really dopey system. You know, it's like if you're in an airplane, you know, you correct something, then you shut it off. Here you can't do that. It stays on until the next inspection. All right, so anyway, by the way, it's getting hot in here because I have the windows closed because I don't want all that noise from the air like this. I don't know if you can hear that. You probably can hear that. If not, good, because I'm sweating in here. But the air conditioning doesn't work. There is one little problem with this Kia, and last year I think I had the same problem, but I went and got it fixed. This year I haven't gotten it fixed because it's early, it's not even summertime yet, but I'm also thinking maybe I'll do it myself. I've been told it's not that hard to recharge the AC. Okay, so here we are, I think it's May 13th, 2023, and we're getting into the election season. Yep, we are. And for those of you that don't know, I try not to lean left, I try not to lean right. I try to walk forward towards the truth. Pragmatism, truth, happiness, and the search for it all. That's the subtitle of the show. But yet, I've got people who say, Dave, there's no doubt about it. You lean to the right. You try, or maybe you don't try. You know, I get a lot of sarcastic answers. My friends, my acquaintances, the people I know that are not of the same political ilk as I am. I don't even know what ilk means, but I just used it in a sentence. Sounded right. They don't like when I talk the way I talk about politics, and a lot of them shut it off. They get all antsy. They're the most emotional people I know. The people that I know that are my friends or acquaintances, and I don't really have technically friends. Well, maybe technically I have friends, but I don't have like friends. All right. I appreciate you listening. You're very nice. We correspond. We do this. We do that. Whatever it is, I help you. You help me. It doesn't really matter. But, you know, for the most part, we don't really talk or break bread. And that's fine. That's fine because I like it that way. I do. I feel very comfortable with the life I've been living for the last 3 or 4 years without really, really, really close friends, talking on the phone nonstop about this and that, whatever, making plans, doing this, you know, getting together. I'm all done with that. I'm done with all of that. Sounds horrible, I know, but it's just easier this way. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I think it's best this way. It's like with dating. Sometimes it's best to date. Have you ever tried doing that? Have you ever tried just dating and dating and dating and dating and dating and not moving in, right? And not living with each other and not getting married and for some reason not having sex? I mean, from the beginning. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine really having somebody in your life? Dave, it's called a buddy. No, I'm talking about somebody from the opposite sex, let's just say. And you really, 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 really like each other. And under normal circumstances, by the way, not the show I wanted to do about 5 minutes ago. Under normal circumstances, you would date, and I'm going with male and female. You want to go with male, male, female, female, it's up to you. I'm going with male, female, okay? That's what I identify. I identify as that, one who speaks in terms of male, female. Female and male, whatever it is. And imagine you meet somebody and go, wow, I really like this person. And you date. And you date, and you date, and you date. You know, no intercourse. And you don't date too much where you get sick of each other. You see each other once a week, twice a week. Sometimes you go weeks, and then you see each other again. It's like, wow. I said, you know, imagine that. You've never done that, have you? You've never done that for a long period of time. You've done it from here, you know, from time to time, but then eventually you break up. Maybe. Or maybe you haven't done it at all. Maybe you haven't even come close to doing it. But that's how I feel with my friends. I'm like, yeah, it's nice. We talk, And I talk to you for a couple months. We go radio silent, whatever. It's better this way. For me, by the way, for me. Not better for you, but better for me. And eventually better for you, because then you get a better me. When you get a better me, then we have a better friendship. So I've resumed contact with at least one person out of all the people that I considered a depleter. And I could consider him a depleter again, because he's still depleting me. Even in his little way, he's depleting me. You know how you know he's depleting me? I don't see his name in the chat room. I don't see him sharing my podcasts over Facebook. I don't see him doing anything for me. It's all about him still. That's fine. It really is fine. And if anybody was listening to the show 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you would know, wow, Dave would have been flipping angry. Like, how dare you? How dare you always make it about you, not about me? Not about me specifically, but about us. But now I don't care, because I've already separated myself from the rest of the world. It's really fine. You do you, I'll do me. Anyway, so, of course I couldn't resist going down that tangent, going down that rabbit hole of friendship, and you do you, me do me, and I'm flying solo, and it's fine. Anyway, I was talking about male and female and married. What was I talking about? Dating. Yeah, so it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you guys listening when you do, commenting when you do, sharing when you do, all of that. I do appreciate it. I'm not angry in the slightest bit to any of you. I'm very happy. So let's move on. I'm going to vote right now for the president. If I had to go to the ballot box today, even though there is no box, there's I don't know what it is, a machine, I would be voting. Oh, I was talking about, yeah, I eat some peanuts. That's not a good idea. I think I've done this before, where I eat peanuts before a show, and then I end up choking throughout the whole show. Not a good idea. Just drink a little apple cider vinegar water. Maybe that'll help. So yeah, it's interesting, the friends that I have, the most emotional, the most unstable, the most judgmental, by the way, are the friends of mine who are of a different political ilk. And that's fine. You do you. And if you don't want to listen to my show, don't listen to my show. It's fine. You want to bash my show? Bash my show. You want to say nothing? Say nothing. It's, but it's funny to me that regardless of our friendship, regardless of our relationship, I don't care who you are, it wouldn't bother me one bit if you did a show that was all Biden, or you did a show that was all how great it is to be a liberal, how great it is to be a Democrat, how great it is not to be a Republican, how great it is to watch Rachel Maddow on CNN. I'd be like, okay, oh, how great, what a mistake it was for Mario Cuomo to resign. How much I love George Stephanopoulos, or whatever. Whatever your show would be, I would still listen to it. I would. I go, okay, that's my buddy, and I'm going to comment. I'm going to comment nicely, and I'm going to encourage you to do more shows. But it's so funny that my non-Republican friends have not done that. My non-Republican friends have aborted Dumbing It Down with Dave. They've said, no, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I don't like doing it. I'm like, wow. Okay, it really bothers you that much that I say words? I say words in contrary to how you feel? Okay. One of the things about all relationships that most people like or love or admire or respect is the differences in the two. Let's just go with two. I could do 3 or 4. But almost every friend I have, or every friend I had, was different from me. Right? And I think they say, or some people say, people look for the things they don't have in other people. And then they become friends with them. And that makes sense to me. But that's not why I would be your friend. I would be your friend because I don't know why. I don't give it a lot of thought. All I know is I'm looking at a lot of taillights right now. We're about to sit in traffic here on the New York State Thruway. I see a lot of brake lights. I don't know what the problem is. I didn't anticipate this coming. I just did the loop-de-loop in Coxsackie. I could have stayed off the Thruway. I went south on a different road and avoided this traffic. And now I'm going to go crawl on the Thruway in a car that has no air conditioning. And it's not going to be pleasant for me. I'm already sweating, like, a lot. But we're still moving, which is not moving quickly. We're moving very slow. What am I slowing down to? Oh, we're slowing down to 10 miles an hour. Okay, well, 10 is better than 0. At least 10 brings a sort of a breeze. 10 breezy. That's what I'm calling it. 10 breezy. So, yawn time. I haven't yawned in a while. So they are. They are the most emotional and angry and hostile people I know. They just are. And you don't want to listen to the show, don't listen to the show. But I'm going to talk about Donald Trump right now. Dave, we're sick of Donald Trump. Yeah. I'm not. I'm not sick of anything. I really am not. What I am sick of is stupidity. I'm sick of ignorance. I'm sick of laziness. And I'm sick of this country going in the wrong direction. I'm sick of a lot of things. I wish I could list them all, but I can't. But I still move forward. I still go to work. And I still have hope. I have hope that all this craziness will come to an end. And the only way this craziness is going to come to an end is that in 2024, we re-elect Donald J. Trump. Could it come to an end if we vote for Ron DeSantis? Yeah. Things can come to an end. He's a good choice. I think almost anybody but Biden is a good choice. But I want to see Trump get in there and finish the job he started. I want to see him do his thing. That's what I want to see. I want to know. I want to feel good about that. I know a lot of you don't care. A lot of you are like, no, anybody but. Well, I got to tell you, I don't think anybody but can. I don't think anybody but him can really bring it back. There's just something about him. He is, in fact, a winner, although he has lost from time to time. He is, for the most part, a winner. And when he brought that into the conversation, a lot of you didn't like that, about him winning, liking to win, not getting caught, all these other things that he said. But I like it. I like the border being quiet. I like gas prices being affordable. I like the country being safe. I like our soldiers being safe. I like the fact that there's hope on the horizon. And I could care less what he tweets. I could care less. It doesn't bother me one bit. And by the way, folks, 99% of this country, I'm guessing, I don't know, could be a lot less, is not on Twitter. They're not on Twitter, or they don't pay attention to Twitter. And this whole thing about Trump's old tweets, I never really paid attention to them, so I could care less. I'm not here on this planet Earth for my president to tweet me. I don't know what he's doing. I think what he's doing is tweeting so the media has to repeat what he said. That's what I think. So here's what I like to happen that I don't think is going to happen. I like to see Ron DeSantis not run. I like to see Ron DeSantis either sit on the sideline, maybe get selected for vice president, maybe get selected for a cabinet position. But I want to see him not run. I want to see Donald Trump run unopposed. I want to see the Republican Party not bash itself by political candidates going against each other. Although, as much as I like to see Donald Trump run for office and give everybody a lesson in how to do it, I'd just rather him be the only one. But apparently it's not going to go that way. So we're going to have to listen to him say things about candidates. The candidates are going to say things about him. And I think that's a bad idea for the Republican Party. I say it's okay to let the Democrats do it, but right now I think it's too important. So a lot of you are tuned out already. I'm not even talking to you anymore. I'm only talking to my base, which is like 2 or 3 people. And you're okay with Trump talk. Even if you didn't like Trump, you're still okay with the talk, because you know where I'm coming from. You know that I want this country to be great. And you know that every time that Biden, when he says MAGA Americans, that he thinks it's a shot. He's taking a shot at us. But he's not. He's just reaffirming. Or reaffirming, or whatever the words are. He's securing this great name of MAGA, Make America Great Again. And he thinks he's saying a bad word, but it's not. It's not a bad word to us, but that's the way it goes with them. That's the way it goes with him. And that's a real shame, because that's not a nice thing to say, and I don't see how that's going to unite us, and I don't see how that's good for the soul of the country. I know it was a dopey thing to say that when he said it first, the soul of the country. Ridiculous. Not the guy to do it. And he didn't do it. I'll be very honest with you. If Joe Biden did not screw up everything he's touched, I mean really everything. And by the way, a show one of these days, I want to do a show. Maybe or maybe not. Maybe I'll do a whole series, or maybe I'll just say it from time to time like I'm going to say it now. But if I was a Democrat, which I used to be, if I was a Democrat, I was a Democrat up until about Rush Limbaugh's book. Whenever he wrote that first book. That's when I switched sides. But if I was a Democrat, my thought process would be the same. That this particular president is not good for us. Not good for anybody. Except for the Biden family. I'm not going to make any predictions, because I made a big prediction last time, and boy, was I wrong. But this president is the worst I think we've ever had. And he's messed up everything. He's killed soldiers. He's got blood on his hands. He's looking at his watch at funerals. He's being escorted around by an Easter bunny. He's got a lot of issues. And he's the wrong guy for the job. He's been a liar his whole life. Everybody knows that. Even if you're a Democrat. You know that. If I was a Democrat, I would know that. I go, yep, I remember that. I remember growing up back in the late 80s, early 90s, or whenever he was first running for office. Probably as president. But I remember him getting caught in a lie. And I remember all of the media attacking him. And that wasn't very good. That was bad. It was bad for the country. Now, if it happened, it would only be very bad for the Democrats, but they would minimize the damage somehow. They would get away with it somehow. And as a Democrat, I'd be upset. Because I remember once upon a time, politics weren't so partisan, right? We weren't so divided. But with the advent of Fox and some other things, it's not the only reason, obviously. But we've become quite divided. Whew, tired. Sitting at a light here in Catskill, New York. I'm going to go get some flowers for Mother's Day. By the way, happy Mother's Day to all of you moms. But, it's a hot one. It's definitely a hot one out there. I'm going to go home, take a shower, and take a nap. Because I am struggling to get through this podcast. But it's good for me. It slows me down a little bit. Instead of me being all yelly and crazy, I'm going a little slow. So Biden Definitely the worst president I think we've ever had. Donald Trump, one of the best presidents we ever had. And if you find him a little bit off the handle, a little bit, whatever, or a lot of it, just not the type you want, just understand the results were there. Gas prices were at a good number. Gas prices were a good number. The country was safer. Servicemen weren't dying overseas. Other countries weren't dying overseas. It just seemed like we were going somewhere until that COVID. And I'm sure some of you are sitting there going, wait a minute, is he going to do a conspiracy thing about COVID? Well, I'll tell you what, I definitely feel the possibility exists that somehow COVID was created to derail him. Because the stakes are so high, it would be worth it to them, whoever they are. That conglomerate, that, circle of whatever it is, that all those things, those myths, all those groups that we've heard about over the years, the one that protected Epstein and or killed him, that they could be so afraid of something happening that would demolish their ability to make money and to control, that they would do such a horrible thing. And the people that would do it, not the people with the money, the people who would actually do it, are people that have to do it, otherwise their families will be tortured or killed or whatever. And I get that. I get that you might take the rest of the planet's life away before they take away your life. I totally get that. I don't agree with it, but I get it. So that's how I reason it. That's how I rationalize it. Yep. I could see this conspiracy because people are afraid to speak up. And it turns out that people are afraid to speak up anyway, who probably aren't the people that are making these changes. But there is an environment that's been created to be afraid. And I get it. I see it. So if you want to message in the chat room about it, what are your thoughts? Because, there's people that we know in high places, we see their faces and their names. But those are the people that are doing the work. They're pulling the strings, but somebody else has got to do the work. And right now, we've worked ourselves into a bad quarter. And it's not good for this country. So that's why, even though it's very early, I'm letting you know right now, I'd be voting for Trump today, tomorrow, and hopefully next week, unless he does something really, really, really awful. And it would take a lot. It would take a lot. It wouldn't bother me as much as other people, but that's the way I am with people in real life. When I meet an a-hole, often I'm very nice to them. I'm very patient. But that's me. What was my point about that? I don't know, maybe. I'm very, very, very tired, and I apologize if this came out to be an episode that people didn't get. That I'm too fractured. I'm all over the place. Well, listen, I wanted to put it out. I didn't want anything to stop me. I'm glad that the time went by a lot faster than I thought it was. I thought maybe when I looked at the time, I was like, oh my God, 12 minutes. I can't do another 18 minutes. But it turns out I looked at the clock and I had a couple of minutes to go. So anyway, you know how to get in touch with me, folks. I'm all over the place at Dumbing It Down with Dave. I am a Republican. I am going to vote for Trump at this point in time. I would vote for DeSantis if it wasn't for Trump. I would vote for a lot of people if it wasn't for other people. But that's not the way it works. And I just want to say thank you very much for tuning in to this Dumbing It Down with Dave. Who are you going to vote for? Who are you going to vote for? Let me know. I'm curious. Reach out to me. Leave a voicemail if you can. Look at the show notes for that number. Of course, I don't remember. It's something like 338-3837 or 3847. I don't know. It's in the show notes. Call the Dumbing It Down with Dave hotline. And leave a message. Leave a nice, clean message if you don't want to write. The chat rooms have not been that busy. So definitely leave a message. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Take care, guys.